Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bon Voyage Besties, your favorite travel podcast. Today, Rosa and I will be discussing solo travel again, which is one of my favorite topics ever. Everybody who knows me knows how much I love solo travel, but this time we're going to be focusing on the personal growth aspect that comes with solo travel. We have a special guest with us, Jessica. Jess is a creative entrepreneur, a seasoned travel writer, and a full-time slow traveler who's explored over 25 countries. Sounds like my kind of person. 100%. From writing for Islands Magazine and Planet Wear to building her blog, Gorgeous Wanderlust, Jess inspires travelers to live authentically and wander with purpose. We're super excited to have Jess on the show and encourage you to book that first big solo trip if you haven't already. So welcome to the show, Jess. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me.
Welcome. So to get the ball rolling, could you tell us a bit about what first inspired you to travel solo?
Yeah, so mine's a little different because I actually grew up a military brat, and my parents kind of went out of their way to make sure or to get assignments overseas while we were little and in high school. They figured the best way to travel was if the military pays for it as opposed to themselves. So I kind of got the bug. Yeah, I kind of got the bug early on. And then I would say I kind of restarted. I actually first started solo traveling 2 years ago or last year. I left in March of 2024. And that was after my son turned 20. I was dealing with startups in corporate America and running my own business and everything. I don't know if we can cuss. So everything was just kind of going to crap all at the same time. So
it's like my life right now.
Yeah, it happens, right? It definitely ebbs and flows. Yeah. So, and I was actually, I was in a position where I was making more money than I ever had, but I was like, something's not right. Something's going to happen. And I picked up Uber Eats of all things, delivering food on the side. And I just like had an epiphany one day sitting in the suburbs of Frisco, like, okay, this isn't it. Like I have to change my life. I had a birthday trip planned for March, which was 2 months from that time. And I was like, I'm just not going to come back. And so that's what I did. I just didn't come back to America. Yeah.
It's adventurous.
Yeah.
I feel like those epiphanies always happen in cars. I don't know what it is, but every big epiphany I've been in my car driving on the parkway.
Exactly. Like car or shower and right where you can't write it down or jump out and like, so you forget it. So yeah, for me, luckily I was in the car.
Oh my gosh. I love it. You just decided to like take the leap. And it's funny that you mentioned that this just happened because a lot of people sometimes think, especially when it comes to solo travel, like, oh yeah, the typical like right out of college or high school doing like the backpack trip. But it can really kind of hit you at any point in life and like you get the urge and like just do it.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
You just go. Yeah, exactly. That's like one thing. It's good and bad. But if I'm like, oh no, I'm going to do something, I just do it. And there's no planning. There's no forethought. There's maybe a little bit of Google research. That's it. That's all that goes into it.
I'm like such a type A. I'm such a type A planner with my solo trips.
Yeah,
I'll have spreadsheets and all that kind of bullshit everywhere. And I really respect that because I want to allow for a little more flexibility, a little more freedom. So I kind of love that because you leave a lot of room for surprises along the way.
Right.
I always wish I left that flexibility.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. You don't have to necessarily go as far as I go, but, at least a little bit of, a break in there, maybe from 4 to 5, don't book that part out and just see how it goes.
Some plan, a little preparation goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was your destination?
So I started in the UK and London because that's just like where I had, UK and Wales. That's where I had my birthday trip scheduled. And then from there, I just went to Barcelona for 2 months, from there, South Korea, and then from there, Barbados. And then after I came back for the holidays, that's like my standard because my son is still here, even though he's grown. It's my baby. So I spent it with him. And then I was in Thailand pretty much the entire last year, except for like little trips out.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying to go to Thailand. That had to be amazing.
Yeah, I hate to say like everything that they say about it is true. It 100% is. Like there's something about it that's like spiritual. It resets you. It's not cheap, but it is very, very good value for money. You can make Thailand whatever you want to make it. So I definitely recommend, especially if you're doing solo travel, Europe and I would say Thailand are very easy ways to break into that with little anxiety.
Yeah, I've heard that about Thailand too for solo travel. I remember this was years and years ago when I was researching my first solo trip, and a lot of blogs said that if you're planning solo travel to Asia, that Thailand is the perfect place to start because the infrastructure for solo travel is just amazing.
It is. And they're, as long as you're not an asshole, they're very welcoming people. They don't care what you do, what you look like, for the most part, like, it's very much like, oh, you're a decent human being. Cool. That's it. So it's nice.
Like, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
My husband had a great time when we went to Thailand. So we went back in 2017 and we had a phenomenal time.
Yeah.
It's funny because just like before at dinner tonight, we were contemplating where we're going to go in 2026. And I named like 20 destinations. And I'm like, I just want to take like a sabbatical from work and just like go everywhere.
Yeah. I love that. I take my work with me. So it's not like I'm, I joke that I'm retired, like I have a retired lifestyle, but I still have to work.
So you're working from the road.
Yeah, I just do it from wherever I want to do it from. Exactly.
Very, very cool. So when you decided to take that leap and you said, you know what, screw it, I'm doing this jump, I'm going to move abroad. What was that feeling that you had when you boarded the plane?
I think because I lived overseas before, it was like, it was like a relief to me. Cause like I wasn't scared, and I'm not taking that away from anybody who is scared about it or has anxiety. I grew up differently. So it wasn't as much of a leap for me. But because of everything that I was dealing with up to that point, it was like relief. It was like, get out of the toxic air and everything that's happening in America and like everything that was happening in my life. It was like, oh, you can step beyond that. As soon as that plane door shuts, it's like it's gone.
It's like a new chapter.
It's not really,
opened.
but it feels like that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's so true. I'm a nervous flyer and I talk about it a lot on the show. But for me, it's so true. When that door closes, it's like everything is left behind. I stop thinking about my job. I stop thinking about my rent, about issues that I have in New Jersey. And it's just like, oh, like it doesn't matter in this space anymore. I'm going somewhere else. And it's like it falls away. It's a really, really true thing as soon as that door shuts.
Right. It's like cathartic. Like I can't even explain it. Like I'm back in the States right now and I'm like, okay, when's my ticket? Okay, love you guys. It's time to go again.
Like I'm ready to go.
Exactly. I landed, I saw my kid. I was like, okay, I could technically leave now. I'd be fine. But I stayed. I'm still here. Yeah.
Love how real you are.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes it's very good. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. So
that's all good. We're all about keeping it real. So with this like grand like solo trip that you took, I know that you moved a lot as a child, a lot of family travel. Did your perspective on travel shift at all once you started traveling alone? Because it is very different. I do a lot of travel with friends now, and the dynamic is so different than it was when I was traveling alone.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to accommodate anybody, right? Like you can literally do whatever you want at any point in time. And even now, like coming back, my whole family is talking about like, oh, well, we need to do a family trip. Like, where are we going to go? And like, I can't, like, it's like, I don't care. I don't care where we go. I really don't. Just tell me where to go. Cause like y'all are making it so hard because everybody has a different opinion. So I think the best thing about solo travel is that you literally, if you want to wake up at 2 a.m. and go clubbing, you can. If you want to hang out in bed until 12, you can. If you want to work and actually make money to support yourself, you can do that. And no one's gonna be like, oh my God, let's go to the pool. I can't go to the pool. I have to get this decided done. You know what I mean? So
it's
for
like
me,
you're in your own time.
Yeah. Like, but I think the flip side of that is it could be kind of too addictive. If we're alone for too long, or we don't have to acquiesce to other people for too long, then we can get kind of really stuck in our ways. So yeah, I don't know if anything's necessarily changed for me, but I definitely enjoy my own company at times.
Yeah. I'm the same way, maybe a little too much. It's so addictive. It's so addictive because you're the boss. You could do whatever you want. You don't have to ask for permission, and the trip is entirely yours. And I feel the same way. I now say like I have to learn to share my toys like in kindergarten. Now that I travel with other people, it's like, okay, time to take a step back, time to, share the itinerary. But it's been a little hard.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think that's like probably my type B part, as like I don't need to have an opinion on where we go. I don't need to have an opinion on where we eat or anything. Just like I really genuinely don't care, because I know that if I really want to go somewhere or do something, I'll just do it by myself and it'll be fine. So for better or for worse.
That's such a good perspective because I
Yeah.
was joking with Rachel the other day. I was saying for most of my trips, I've done very few like solo trips. A lot of my trips have been with my family or with like my
Hmm.
friends. And now I'm getting to the point that I just want to travel by myself because, like you said, if you want to go do something, you do it. And if you don't want to do something, you just want to lay in bed, watch Hallmark movies while you're on a beachfront resort. Why
Right.
not? There's no one there to judge you, and solo travel looks different. Travel in general just looks different for everyone. But there's something about just doing what you want when you want. It's like so liberating.
It is. And I feel like, especially, I don't know, like this might be getting too analytical or too philosophical, but especially like as women, like we are constantly pulled in 24 different directions and we're constantly serving other people. And so I think, especially like as a woman, to just like for once be able to go, I don't have to give a shit about anybody's feelings or what they want to do. Like you to just have that moment for yourself, I think it's needed. I wouldn't even say it's refreshing. Like it's needed. It's a must.
I
Yeah.
agree. Here's to more solo trips in
Yeah,
2026.
I think you should take
Yeah.
a solo trip, Rosa. Jess and I will support you. I think you would love
For
it.
sure.
We're here for you.
I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
I'm
Me
already
too.
looking at
Yeah.
places, so
Yeah, do
I
it.
love
Do
it.
it.
you don't got to twist my arm.
For sure. For sure.
But you bring up a good point. You know, you grew up a little bit different. So traveling for
Mhm.
you was kind of the norm. But for
Right.
some people that don't necessarily travel, you know, what would be some of like the biggest fears as far as solo traveling and ways that one can kind of overcome that?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, like we don't achieve anything if we don't go outside of our comfort zone. So if it depends on your fear, right? If you're scared to go somewhere you don't know the language, go to Europe. If you're scared to go somewhere where you don't like the food, make sure there's a McDonald's around the corner. You know what I mean? My experience traveling the world is we are a lot more similar than we are different. And I think no matter what it is, whether it's solo travel, whether it's a paper that we have due for college, whether it's, raising our kids, we create fear and anxiety that actually doesn't even exist. So we think that this country is going to be X, Y, and Z, or we heard that this country is going to be X, Y, and Z. And from experience, there's been places that I didn't want to go because someone said, oh, you're not going to like it. And then I ended up going and I was like, I should have come here 2 months ago. You know what I mean? There's always going to be a reason not to. There's always going to be something that you're scared of or that you don't understand. And then that creates fear and anxiety. You just have to accept that that's going to happen, mitigate it as much as you can and research before if that's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, like you just have to get on that plane and you have to start the journey.
Yeah, you just have to do it. Like I said, I'm a fearful flyer. Anxiety is like the default state before going anywhere. And I like psyched myself out so much when I booked my trip to Japan because I'm like, there's no way you could do this flight. Like I've been to Europe a bunch of times, but I was like 14 hours one way. You can't do this flight. This is like not for you. But I got on the plane, did it. I don't remember much about the flight because it was long and kind of boring, but I felt amazing once I did it. And I was trying to put up all these roadblocks and thank God I didn't cancel because it was one of the best trips ever. So you do
That's
just sometimes
awesome.
have to suck it up and do it.
Right. There's always a reason not to do it anyway. That's what I say. Always a reason. No matter what it is, there's a reason not to do it. You just got to do it anyway.
Yeah, 1,000%. Do you have any like destinations that you would maybe recommend to someone who's trying solo travel for the first time?
I mean, I'm biased. Like I'm going straight back to Thailand. I love Thailand.
I need to go.
And in fairness, like when I was in Thailand, I also did Cambodia, I did Hong Kong, I did Bali. So I didn't just stay in Thailand. And then I did 3 different places in Thailand. So I did still adventure around. And Thailand is, like I said, it's just welcoming. Anybody that I know, I've never known anyone to say anything bad about Thailand. Again, if you're worried about maybe your food preference, if you're worried about being able to speak the language, Europe. Unfortunately, we're Americans. We want everyone to speak English all the time. So if that's a major roadblock for you, go to England. It's not, it's not going to be that much different than America, but you'll at least leave the country and it'll be your baby step.
You can start small and then make your way to Bangkok.
Exactly. So, or if you need to start really small, go to Canada. It's a different country. Go to Mexico. It's a different country, but you don't have to, go so far out of your comfort zone. It's my suggestion.
Yeah, that's really true. I always say that baby steps are really good. I know for me,
Mhm.
I've talked about this a couple times. My first solo trip was a guided tour of Scotland.
Oh,
And it was
fun.
more like my parents were nervous about me traveling solo. So I'm like, let me do
Mhm.
something that's like not going to freak them out. And it was like a great trip. I had an amazing time. It was all like young people in their 20s. That was like my age at the time. And it was awesome. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to Paris. I speak a little French. So up the ante a
I
bit.
love
And it worked
that.
out. Yeah.
It's like you said, you build that comfort.
Yeah, that's all it is. We make things in our head so much bigger than what they actually are. So like the minute you actually step off that plane and you're like, oh, well, that person was nice, or I actually really like pad thai, or like when you have those little revelations, like, oh, it's not really that scary, then like everything just it's just good. It's that much easier to continue to do it.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point too about making your own informed decisions because people always have negative opinions. And I think that's one of the biggest things, especially for us as women. It's like, oh, well, you can't go to this country because it's so dangerous. And I'm like, US is dangerous too. So,
Look, I'm gonna be like, look,
you can't
yeah,
let fear hold you back. Granted,
no.
obviously make informed decisions. Make sure that you are going to a place where you feel comfortable, but
Hmm.
don't, stop going somewhere just because someone else has a negative opinion or maybe had
Right.
a bad experience.
Right. And my comfort zone is going to be completely different than somebody else's. Like my comfort zone is different than my sister's comfort zone, and we have the same childhood. You know what I mean? So just because someone else doesn't like somewhere or it doesn't, treat them right or just doesn't click, that doesn't mean that you're going to have that same experience.
Yeah, that's really true too about like different comfort zones and whatnot. Like, I see a little less of this now, but when I first started solo traveling, there was like a lot of travel shaming around starting with group trips. And I'm like, who
Right.
are you to say if that gets somebody to go and travel? Like, does it really
Right.
matter as long as they're not hurting anybody else? I
Right.
mean, come on now.
Exactly. Or maybe that's all they can afford, or maybe that's all they could get, the time. Like we don't live like people love to nitpick and analyze and psychoanalyze every detail of people's lives. Like focus on your own. Start there, master your own life, and then maybe look outside. That's my recommendation.
Reminds me of this one meme of this little girl. She's like, worry about yourself. Worry about
Right.
yourself.
Right. You're not paying my bills. You're not feeding me. You're not, taking my picture. So I don't really, at some point, you have to just negate other people's opinions.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really, really true. I definitely solo travel. One thing it's taught me about my own independence is to care less about other people's opinions because I've gotten so
Hmm.
comfortable with my own company. Like, I
Right.
remember when I was in my early 20s, I was such a people pleaser. Whereas traveling alone and building that independence now, like people's opinions, I just kind of let them, like, roll off my
Right.
shoulders, whatever. Have you noticed any like personal like growth in that aspect after you started traveling solo?
I mean, for sure. Like I've definitely been, everyone's been through shit in their life, right? So for me, I had like a lot of buildup and there was a lot of things. I was a people pleaser. I felt like my voice didn't need to be heard. I was like I don't want to ever say reserved. I don't know that I was ever reserved, but I was just very, like I didn't ever live fully. I was always like, oh, well, I can't, like, if someone's going to make fun of me if I'm taking a selfie or you know what I mean? It was like little stuff like that. Not anything crazy, but just like little negative in my head all the time. And solo traveling has definitely been like given me more confidence in myself, in who I am as a person. That might also be because like I turned 40 in the process. And I like at 40, I think you really do just stop.
But yeah, you just don't give a crap.
You just don't care
I can
anymore.
vouch for that.
So those two things like coincided. But yeah, solo travel will build your resiliency. It will build strength in yourself if you allow it, for sure. And I would not change the last 2 years, even though it was not all peaches and cream. I would not change the last 2 years for anything.
Yeah, that's really true. Because I used to care, like, especially with like dining alone, I used to really care what people thought about that. And now, like, I couldn't care less. I'll like sit down, like, at a bar, order all kinds of like delicious food for
And I'm
myself.
gonna eat
I
it
will take
all.
selfies and videos of it. And it's like, judge away. I don't know you. You're a
Yeah.
stranger.
Right. And I think that's the other thing that solo travel does is you realize that 95% of people aren't paying attention to you. They don't care at all. We're so self-centered. We make everything about ourselves. And 95% of people you encounter are going to even forget that they walked by you know? So it's just like, we have to understand that other people are in their heads too. And the minute we realize that all the internal dialogue that we have in here that's crushing ourselves, everybody else has it too. So just let it go and just enjoy yourself.
Exactly. Like you said, I mean, I feel like sometimes we kind of put our own roadblocks that, like you said, there's always going to be a reason why you can't do something, whether it's maybe time constraint, maybe health, maybe money. So if you do have the opportunity to do something that's going to change your perspective on life, like do it now, because one, tomorrow is not promised. So if you have the opportunity to do it, just do it now instead of looking back and regretting not taking that leap. I know for myself, I had my daughter at a young age. So now that she's older, my daughter's also 20 years old. So now that she's older, I do have a little bit more freedom where I can travel, I can do certain things.
Right.
And I'm like, I'd rather just do it now than wait till I'm like older and retired. What if that day never comes? Or what if I get to that age and health wise, I just can't do it?
Right.
I'd rather enjoy my life now and I'll worry about my retirement plan when the time comes.
I mean, like, I love my parents to death. I don't want them to die, but, you know, they have a really nice house. Me and my sister are going to split it. That's my retirement plan at this point.
We have a backup plan.
And I told my mom this the other day. But that's my retirement plan at this point.
Like you have a backup plan.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
mean, I say I contribute to my 401k and hopefully, you know, my daughter, she gets older, has her own life. She'll take care of me if she needs to.
Yeah.
So that's my backup plan.
Yeah. New Jersey's going to take care of me. There's the teacher pension. We'll see.
Oh, good.
Actually, my coworkers, we had our like holiday potluck where we all get together, and I'm kind of known in my building for being the travel girl, which is fine. That's, you know, totally cool. And they were all saying the same thing. I was like, you know, I'm seeing my friends in London in February. I'm spending all this like money, and then I want to go to Italy with my friends, and I have to budget for that. And they also the same thing. They're like, Rachel, you know, you would rather do it now. And one of them actually said that they were on a cruise recently, and they saw a lot of people with like health issues who couldn't really like participate and do much, and they were just like, you'd rather do it now while you can, because like who knows, like 20-30 years down the line, they're like, money will come back, don't worry about it, just go and travel. And I'm like, wow. I'm like hearing this from multiple coworkers of mine, so I'm like, you don't have to tell me twice, you really don't.
Yeah, like get out of there. For sure.
It's like reinforcing our beliefs. But one of the things I personally like about traveling is just that immersing yourself in the different cultures, learning, getting to meet new people. And I think when you travel with friends, it's great because you kind of have that built-in buddy. But when you travel by yourself, it's a great opportunity to kind of immerse yourself in a different way. You get opportunity to sometimes talk to the local people that maybe you might not do if you're there with like friends or family. So what would you say are some tips when it comes to kind of immersing yourself with like the locals when traveling to a new destination?
For sure, stay away from tourist areas. I mean, they have, you know, like, again, not to judge anybody's travel preferences. Like, I don't go to resorts and like, I don't stay in all-inclusive resorts. I go to where locals typically are. I don't want to be around a bunch of Americans. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't.
No shame to Americans.
No shame. We understand.
You know,
we understand. I don't need to hear my accent. It's annoying enough to listen to me talk without other people.
Right.
Like little disclaimer, just in case I want to get canceled in 2025.
Yeah, no, you know, I'm proud to be American, but you know, we got some work to do. But anyway, I digress. So, and especially like if you're doing longer travel, like slow travel, like I do, like I work out. You can't always tell that on Instagram that I work out, but I do. I promise I work out. So like finding a local gym, like playing volleyball, like that kind of stuff, finding like whatever your hobbies are, they have those people that have those same hobbies in other countries. So find your people. Even if there's a language barrier, cool, you have that common medium that you can start communicating with, that commonality between you. So that's what I would say. Whatever you're passionate about in America, you can find that in any other country and start there.
Yeah, I really like that, especially like if you're doing more slow travel, say if you're staying in the same city for a month, it's a good way to just like make connections. Because I know like it's a little different, but when I first like moved up to North Jersey, closer to New York City, like I didn't really like have any friends here. So I joined a book club. I joined like a restaurant like club. I ended up joining a Wonderful, like their chapter in New York, to meet people. And it worked out like really super well. So especially if you're going to be there for a long time, like go and join some groups and make like friends, because they're not just going to appear in your apartment. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Right. We wish. That'd be great. Just get some jammies. Let's have some Moscato.
DoorDash a friend.
Right. That could actually...
That sounds interesting. Hold on.
I would say
that sounds interesting.
That's illegal in like 30 countries for sure. That's probably illegal, but...
We'll try to keep this more PG.
PG, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I was like, I lost my train of thought with that one.
Sorry.
Hilarious. That's hilarious though. But yeah, totally agree. It's like fine hobbies, fine activities. But we talked a little bit like about our comfort zones and how everybody's comfort zone is kind of different. So do you have any stories from your solo travels where you really had to like get outside of your comfort zone a little bit and what that was like?
I would say I don't necessarily think outside of my comfort zone, just because I don't necessarily let from a point of exploring and putting myself out there. I don't necessarily let my comfort zone hold me back. But at the same time, crash that. Yes, my comfort zone is what we were just talking about: staying in the house, drinking some Moscato, knocking out work. Right, I'm on autopilot like that. I've been a single mom since I was 18, so like we got bills to pay, we got work to do. That still is the case. Especially when I was in Thailand and I knew I was going to be there pretty much the whole year, my default was to get my apartment, and I was in my apartment and I was working, and occasionally I'd go get on, I would explore, but I found myself defaulting to a big reason as to why I left the States in the first place. So that's when I started. I was like, okay, I love volleyball. Let me see if there's anywhere that does sand volleyball. And I found that I literally put it on Threads within 5 minutes. Someone was like, oh yeah, go to ASUK Sports Club. That's where you want to go for volleyball. Great. So I think part of it, we have to be self-aware as to what our comfort zone is, because you saw it even took me a minute. And once we know what that comfort zone is, then we have to actively push ourselves outside of it. So for me, it is very easy for me to become a hermit. It is very easy for me to become isolated. And that was actually also why I went to Phuket, because a really good friend of mine from Dallas, he's actually a trainer at one of the gyms that I worked out here when I was in Dallas, living in Dallas. He randomly ended up in Phuket. So I was like, I'm going to go to Phuket. And that way, if nothing else, I have my one friend there, and he might get tired of me and sick of me, but we are going to spend time together. We're going to go meet people. We're going to have fun. We're going to work out. And it worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. And now I'm going back to Phuket because I've been able to build like a little bit of a community there. If that answers your question. I know it was not succinct, but that's what I would say.
That's definitely a good tip, because I feel like a lot of people, they have this misconception, especially if you're traveling to a destination for a long time. And in your case, like you said, you're traveling, but you're not there just to travel. You're also working. So it's easy to kind of continue with that routine. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm doing the same exact thing that I'm doing back home, which is okay. But the point of traveling is to explore, is to kind of immerse yourself a little bit more with the local culture. So I think that's definitely a great tip as far as finding something that you're interested in and just kind of using that as a starting point. And now you make friends, now you're getting out there. And even though you're still kind of living your day-to-day life like you normally would back home, you're kind of immersing yourself a little bit more. So it's definitely a great tip.
Yeah. And you get to really understand what life can be like outside of what you know. And you realize that growing up, whether it's Canadian, American, Thai, Nigerian, whatever it is, you get to see that everything you know is not how it has to be and is not the only answer. And really understanding day-to-day life in these other countries, I think that is the thing that I appreciate the most. You know what I mean? Like really understanding like there's more than one way to get to Starbucks or McDonald's or, the hole in the wall. Like it's just, for me, that's like one of my favorite things. That's a blessing for me.
I know. I love going to like supermarkets when I travel to a new destination. I feel like that's a little insight into the world. Like, oh, if I lived here in Greece, this is what my life would be like, going to like the fisherman's market, getting my meat over here, my bread over there. I don't know why. It's that whenever I travel somewhere, I'm like, okay, I feel like a local just by like going to like a local supermarket.
Yeah. And that, roll the dice. Sometimes you don't even know what you're buying, but you're like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's try it. You might be eating like intestines or something, but hey, you tried it.
That has happened to me.
Oh, you got intestines by mistake?
Intestine, but I don't know. It tasted weird.
Where was this?
This was actually in Iceland, and I was like, "Oh, this looks great." And I bought some stuff, and then I was like, "I don't know what this is," but I survived.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? It's so weird. Like when I'm at home, and I mentioned this like on another episode, I'm very like cautious, like with my food. Like I will like check the expiration dates on literally everything in my fridge because it's just like a thing with me. But when I'm overseas, I'll just like buy whatever and eat it. Like I have no idea what the hell any of it is, and I'll just like eat it. I'm super, super adventurous. And like I'll make phone calls home and be like, guess what I had for dinner? And my family will be like, how's your stomach? You feeling okay? I'm like, oh, I'm great. And then they'll be like, you're eating all of this stuff, but you're obsessive with expiration dates like back in New Jersey. Like, what's going on here?
It's like, you're living outside your comfort zone. That's the whole point.
You're right. And I mean, and to be fair, and speaking from experience, food standards in other countries are higher than they are in the United States.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you're going to get healthier food or not. There is not going to be as much stuff as in our food. So,
exactly. You could actually read the ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No red dye vibes over there.
So speaking of like other cultures, I love that too. Like you go out into the world and travel and you see like all these different perspectives and it's amazing. So what have other cultures taught you specifically about community balance or happiness?
I think kind of just like what I was alluding to before is like the things that we think that we need or have to do or have to be happy, you don't. I've been homeless living out in hotels with my, as a single mom, all the way to making 15 grand a month. And that was right before I decided to move overseas. So I've seen the entire gamut of it. And it's like everything that we think that we need to survive or to be happy, you need maybe a tenth of that. And I think other cultures, especially if you're not going to an extremely westernized culture or a rich GDP, I guess, rich culture, you realize that how we value wealth is very, very different. And getting that perspective, I think, is another thing that is needed for everybody kind of on our side of the pond, as they say.
Yeah, that's really true. I was just like thinking this recently, like I do like buy a lot of stuff I don't need. Like it makes me happy in the moment, but then like I have to declutter my apartment at some point and I'm looking and I'm like, where did all this shit come from? I don't need like a whole lot of it. It just like accumulates.
Did you get Labubu's in Tokyo? Do you have a Labubu?
I do not.
No, you didn't.
I do not have a Labubu. I did get a little Final Fantasy keychain, and I don't know where it is. And I'm like, why am I buying all this stuff? I was nostalgic. I used to play that as a kid, and I bought like all of this like Final Fantasy stuff. And it's like, girl, you have not picked up a PlayStation in 20 years. Like, why are you buying all of this and bringing it back to the U.S.?
Yeah, I get it. Trust me. There's crap that I've bought. Even not having an apartment. Like, I don't have an apartment here anymore. I don't have a car here anymore. Even not having that, I'm still like, oh, this is cute. I should get it for 10 years from now when I actually live in America again. And it's just going to sit in storage. So I get it. It's consumerism.
It's like it's kind of embedded in our heads, consumerism. Just like you constantly have to buy something. I remember my grandpa used to say, like, America's the country. There's always a holiday. Like every month, there's a reason for you to go shopping. And it's so true. Like sometimes we just consume things. And you bring up a good point, Jess, like as far as what we kind of determine what's wealthy. Like, oh, if you don't own a home or if you don't drive a fancy car, like you're not set up for life. But I love like that mindset. It's not really like that in other countries. Like people don't ask you, the first question is not, oh, what do you do for a living? There's more to life than just like work and the materialistic things. And I think that's one of the things that I personally find myself that's lacking in this country. And it's like a breath of fresh air when I visit a new destination, because it's not about, the designer brands or like what you're wearing or what you do. It's more about who you are as a person and what you're kind of contributing to society as a human being.
Exactly. And I know there's even some, and I don't want to say which Scandinavian country because I can't remember, but I know in some Scandinavian countries, it's even like you do not ask people what they do, like period. It is taboo. It is considered crass. It is like because it is so unimportant to anybody there. And like, if that's like a way to immediately, oh, they know you're not from here. They know you're from America, or you're from another really Western country, is with you like, oh, what do you do? Even if it's in passing. Yeah. Don't do that.
Wow. I like that though. I like that though. This was years ago. It was like all my girlfriends from the book club that I'm part of, and we went out to brunch, and one of the girls, like, because everyone was just complaining about work, eventually got to the point where she's like, let's just talk about stuff that has nothing to do with work. And like we eventually did, but she had to like step in. It's like, okay, it's like we're not in work right now.
We're
it's
done.
a Sunday. We're off. Like you're not getting paid to do this. Let's talk about something else. And it's so true, because I realize that whenever like I travel overseas, it's not like the dominant topic of conversation.
Mm-mm. At all. Like, honestly, now if I'm sitting here honestly thinking about it, I think the only people that ask me what I do are other travelers, never a local. I don't think a single local has asked me what I do.
Yeah. The only time it really came up was when I was in Japan and I did like a food tour and a walking tour. It came up that I was an English teacher and they just absolutely loved that. They were just like, "Oh, you're a teacher. That's so cool." And that
Yeah.
was like really nice, but it
It's
was like from a very
celebrated.
it was a very positive
Yeah.
place. And the one food tour guide, he was so sweet. Every time he addressed me, he'd be like, "Rachel Miller, English teacher." And I'm like, "You're so
That's
sweet." I'm like,
cute.
"You're making me feel so good about my job right now. I'm
Right.
glad you appreciate me."
Right. But that is literally one of the most important jobs in any society. And here it's like, oh, they're just a teacher. Well, you raise your kids then. You teach your kids.
Yeah,
But we don't actually
exactly.
want that. For the rest of society, we don't want most parents raising no, we don't want that. But in other countries, like it really is it's revered. Like it's a noble profession. And
Yeah,
that's
it
like
was so sweet.
Yeah.
It made me
That's
feel so
awesome.
good. I'm like, "You're the best." I'm like, "You're the best. Thank you so much."
Rachel
That's
is
so
the
awesome.
best teacher here in New Jersey. Her students love her.
Aw,
I try.
I love that.
I try.
love
I
it.
try my best.
I love it. I love it.
But what do you say are other approaches when it comes to connecting with locals when traveling alone?
Food. Go to like the whatever the best hole in the wall restaurant that the locals go to. Like I feel like that is a universal. We have community over meals. You know what I mean? Like in Spain, I don't know if y'all have been to Spain, but Spain, like they take mealtime seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that like go to whatever the best restaurant that the locals go to, or you got to do some research, but go there. Breaking bread is, I think, the quickest way to community.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that. I just
Yeah.
recently went to Copenhagen. So we went to this one bar and I asked the bartender, I was like, "Hey," so we were at a really nice bar. And then I was like, "Oh, we want to go something a little bit like more like low key. Like, what do you suggest?" And he was so funny. He was like, "Well, it's not for tourists, but us locals, this is where we like to go." And I was
That's
like,
where I
"That's
wanna go."
exactly the spot that we want."
Thank you.
Yes.
That's
Thank
what I
you.
need.
That's exactly what I need. Yes.
And we had
Yep,
a great
that's the best
time.
way. I love that. That's
Yeah, because if
awesome.
you have like good food around, like everybody's friendly and happy. Like, how can you
Right.
be mad over delicious food? You can't. It's impossible.
You can't. It's impossible. Literally impossible. I agree.
I think that's the reason why I always book food tours when I travel, because it's like you instantly make a ton of friends over food and it's
Yeah.
great.
That's smart. That's really smart. And I probably need to do more, but I do very little like tours or even tours. Like I have yet to go see the Big Buddha in Bangkok and I was there for almost a year. Like, so I do
Wow.
need to do I'm like so anti-tourist, but I'm like, Jessica, you're technically a tourist.
You got to
So,
just like, spend a day, cross it off your list.
Right. So yeah, I get it. That's something I need to do more of too, is just more of kind of the touristy things for sure.
Yeah. So how about culture shock? Has culture shock ever taught you anything meaningful, especially in a place where like you lived for a while?
So I don't, and maybe it's just because I grew up like around the world. I don't think I've experienced culture shock. I've experienced one really negative experience, but I think it was at the hand of a person and not, I would never attribute that to an entire culture. And it was also single mother trauma. So yeah, so I don't think I've had culture shock, especially not in these last 2 years. So, but again, I think as soon as we realize that we have much more in common than what differentiates, and I know that sounds like it's Hallmark and it's Christmas and kumbaya, but it really is true.
It's so
Like,
true. It's so true.
Yeah, we're not as different as we think we are, and maybe that's like our own little egos, like we want to be special, but everybody's special. I think realizing that it doesn't make things as scary, and like you realize that human beings are literally just human beings, and like we have the same fears, same anxieties, same values, you know, family, friends, like all of that matters to us.
And that's a good point because I feel like there's more good in the world than there is bad. And sometimes, whether it's the news, social media, or just people that never have gone to a destination, that's like my biggest pet peeve when people say, "Oh, but it's dangerous." I'm like, "Oh, you went?" And they're like, "Oh, no, but you see it in the news or you see it like online." And I'm like, that's not a real life perspective because mass media, they're not always going to portray the best, right? In every place. They're portraying the news. news, and usually the news is usually toxic, negative information. Like you're watching the news, 99% of it is bad things that are happening around you, and maybe like one like feel good story. So like of course you're gonna see all these negative things until you actually experience it for yourself. Don't let that kind of deter you from visiting a location. Or maybe if you hear like, oh, that group of people, those stereotypes, don't fall into that, because I feel like, at least from my personal experience while traveling, I've never encountered situations, and I've had like negative moments or maybe parts of my trips that things have gone wrong, but I've never encountered a situation where the local people, I've been scared or they've been like
Right.
rude or intimidating in any way.
I agree. And again, like, I know I shouldn't berate on it. I want people to explore the world. Like, at the end of the day, we don't even rank top 10 in world's safest countries. So explore.
Yeah.
It's safe. I promise. It's safe.
I felt just so safe in Japan. I remember one moment
Right.
I was really jet lagged. Like I fell asleep as soon as I got there. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was starving. And I took the metro in Tokyo. It's like 4 in the morning. I get the first train and I just feel like so relaxed, very just like calm. And then I was just like, I wouldn't do this in New Jersey, but I feel like perfectly fine and comfortable doing it here.
Like, I'll tell you something that absolutely blew my mind. And I got so used to it, I found myself doing it here. And I was like, oh, no, honey, we can't do that. But in South Korea, Thailand, every Asian country I've been to, people at public places leave their bags, leave their purses, leave their computers. They will walk away 20, 30 minutes, go have a phone call, go eat something, go chit chat with a friend. Nobody touches anything. You can leave money. Like, some dude did an experiment. He left money hanging out of his wallet, left his wallet on his bike outside. He sat inside for 2 hours watching it. No one touched it until finally a security guard was like, oh, there's money. Oh, I saw who came in here. I have to go find him. And people and I found myself working at the coffee shop here, and I got a phone call. I had to call my son, or I don't know, my son or somebody. And I walked away from my computer and I was like, no, wait, I gotta go. Wait, gotta go back and get it. Gotta go back and get it. So yeah, I literally have video, and I became so accustomed to it. I will walk away from my computer in Southeast Asia. Like, I will, it's no problem whatsoever. I could leave it for 2 days. It will still be there.
That's like so interesting. And then like another moment I had like that, I just thought of it. I'm just thinking of my nephew. He was born this summer. When I went to Iceland, I always heard like from other travelers, like, yeah, people will like leave their baby in the, the little like carriages outside, and they'll just go in, have coffee, leave the baby outside. And I'm just like, this is not true. I'm like, this isn't true. I'm like, this isn't. And I was like, this isn't true. There's no way. Well, I go to Iceland. I go to the coffee shop at the Iceland like National Museum, and a couple, they like, tuck the baby in and all, leave the baby outside, go in, have coffee, and I see the baby like outside all like tucked in asleep, and I'm like, it's happening. The baby's outside. No, it's this
maybe
safe.
That
the
was
baby's
like a
outside.
one-time occurrence.
No judgment. No judgment, but as a mother, like, my son is 22. I don't like leaving him alone outside.
Didn't even leave my dog 22. Outside.
Right. So it's not a judgment. I'm sure it's safe. I would lose my mind. I would go nuts.
It's like
I have a tracker on my son to this day. Like, I still have a tracker on my son.
My family has a tracker on me. My still. Right. We all have each other's locations.
Yes.
We'll do a social experiment. We'll leave Rachel outside and see somebody snags her up.
Leave me outside on the streets of New York. I mean, let's see what happens.
Right.
But yeah, it was so interesting because I had heard this from like multiple like travel guides, and I'm like, there is no way. And then when I saw it, I'm just like, damn, Iceland really is safe, isn't it?
I would absolutely lose my mind. I wouldn't be able to focus on whatever I was trying to enjoy or whatever. I'd be like, oh my God, my kid, my baby, oh my God. So yeah, I couldn't do it.
For me, like, I don't have children, so I think for me, I was just kind of like, oh my God, this is like...
Yeah. But again, it's like, we think that's, you know what? Perfect example, Thailand. We think we have, and oh my God, I'm not advocating get this. I would never do this, but I did not see a single car. I'm sorry. I saw maybe one car accident the year that I was in Thailand. Right. And people ride motorbikes. They have their kid. They'll have 4 people on a motorbike with the baby, with the dog, everything. No accidents, no problem. And we as Americans see that and we're like, oh my God, put the baby in a car seat. What's happening? You know what I mean? So again, it's just, you realize your way is not the only way.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, then here I feel like there's a car accident like every 15 seconds
Literally.
with the traffic
All
I've
the
been
time.
sitting in. And I was so bad. The other day, not to digress, the other day, like driving to work, if there was traffic on my side of the highway, it's because people were slowing down to look at the traffic on the other like side of the highway. The other.
Yeah.
I was just like, so now I'm ready to go to Thailand. No accidents, sold. I'm
Yeah.
going to stay there for like 3 months now.
Right. No, don't get me wrong. They drive crazy. Like, I did not get on a bike until my friend had a bike. So I still have not gone on a regular motorbike. So I'm not saying it's that. I guess that would be culture shock. There you go. That's a culture shock moment for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the traffic in Bangkok, I remember when we went, it was a little chaotic, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like organized chaos. Like you said, everyone seems to
is.
know exactly where they're going. The traffic just like moves very smoothly.
Yeah.
But it could be a little overwhelming. I think that was probably one of the places that, and maybe Egypt and Cairo, two places I don't think I could ever drive.
I would never drive in Thailand. Like, I will walk.
No
I will
way.
take a bus. Grab, which is their equivalent of Uber, is so inexpensive.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's cool. I don't need a car.
Yeah, I don't
Jump in
need
a
to drive.
tuk-tuk.
Yeah,
I don't need to drive either. I
Yeah.
would be like their version of Uber all the way. Like,
Mhm.
no. I'm a nervous driver anyway, and I'm just like, forget it. Overseas now.
Yeah. I understand.
Oh my God. So would you say that as far as all the places that you visited, has there been any cultural experience that has completely shifted your mindset or even challenged your assumptions about a destination?
No, I really don't think so. Like I said, the only bad experience I had to where it's like etched in my memory was in Iceland, and it was literally going through customs. And like I because of that, I will never go back to Iceland. On top of the fact that it's so expensive, like ridiculous.
It's expensive.
Iceland is not cheap, yeah.
2 pho, 2 drinks, $40. 2 pieces of pizza, 2 drinks, $35. Oh, it was just how they treated me as how the customs person treated me as a single mother. I would never go back. And it was also in front of my son, like as a single mother. So that's the only where I'd be like, I'm not going back to a country. It's really that. There's very little anything. There's very little that shifts my perspective so much that I apply a negative situation to in a broad way. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does.
Okay. I was like, I just kind of went on a little tangent there.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All good. All good. All good.
But I love because you're honest about it, right? Like you said, I mean, you had an unpleasant experience and that just deters you from going to that destination, which is totally fine. I feel like we can go to the same destination. You might have a great experience. I might not, and vice versa.
Right.
And that's why, travel is not one size fits all. And again, like that's one of the things that we try to advocate throughout our podcast is make your own informed decisions. And I've been to places. I remember my first time that I went to Greece. I was like, I hated it. I'm never coming back. And I've been to Greece like 3 times and it's one of my favorite countries in the world. But I had such an unpleasant experience the first time that I went. And then like later on, I was like, all right, I'm ready to kind of give Greece another try. And I kind of got forced into going into it because my husband and daughter like vetoed my decision. And they're like, no, we want to go to Greece. And I was like, really? Like I had such a horrible experience. And then that trip was phenomenal. And from then, I love it there. So again, you can have a negative experience and I want to go back to the country, and that's totally fair.
Right. Love it.
Yeah, definitely.
To each their own.
To each their own. And I like the importance of being like honest too, because I do feel like especially like with social media and like travel content creation, there's like this like mindset of like, oh, like I have to say like that everything was perfect. I can't say like that something went wrong. And I think it's important to like talk about like the bad experiences too, because they happen. Like I had kind of a rough experience in the Toronto airport, in Toronto Pearson, and in Barcelona's airport. And it's like no shade to both those cities. I like both the cities, but like the experiences in the airport with like security and like being frisked and all this stuff was like pretty like, intense.
Right.
But, and these things happen and it's important to be honest about them, I think.
I agree. For sure.
100%. So what would you say to someone, I know we touched on this a little bit, who's scared to take their first solo trip but wants to? They're coming to you for advice and they're like, I really want to do it, but I'm kind of scared.
Figure out what the actual fear is, like what is the biggest part of that is scary to you, and just accept the worst case scenario. literally tell yourself, okay, worst case scenario is going to happen. Let me put my plan in place to, provide for that. And then you get on the plane and you go. And then you don't move as if worst case scenarios happen, but you know that you've already planned for worst case scenario and you already can recover from worst case scenario. So then when worst case scenario doesn't happen, that's like you realize that you're creating anxiety where there doesn't need to be. And not only are you creating anxiety where there doesn't need to be, you're actually keeping yourself from phenomenal experiences and from things that most people will never be able to experience in their life for whatever reason. And just knowing you're seeing parts of the world that 99% of the population will never see, and experiencing things or eating things or whatever it is, like it's special. And you don't want to just keep watching the TV and living, doing it through, like nothing can compare. TV pictures, none of that can compare.
It's so not the same.
Yeah. Like I hate to be blunt about it because like, I can be scary too. Like anything about my kid, I am freaking anal. Like I'm like, oh my God, my baby. And he's 22. He's grown. Okay. It's my baby. Okay. But like it literally, like he wanted to go skydiving. I was like, oh, I can't have my baby go skydiving. And then he was like, well, he's grown. I'm going to pay for him because he came to visit me in Thailand. It's like, I'm going to pay for my baby to go skydiving because we didn't have a good Christmas. We didn't have a good, birthday because of what, was going on. So I was like, I'm paying for my baby to go skydiving, but I'm not fucking going skydiving. That's scary. Ooh, sorry.
No, it is. It's scary.
I was saying
right?
same thing.
But then I thought about it and I was like, well, first of all, my son thinks I'm scared of everything anyway, not realizing that I'm really just scared of something happening to him. So I have to prove him wrong. And two, if I'm scared that the parachute's not going to open for me, what kind of mother am I to be like, oh yeah, baby, go ahead.
It's fine.
Yeah. So I had to take that fear and actually break it down and dissect it. So yes, in August, my son and I jumped out of a plane and I would do it again 1,000,000 times over.
You're so
awesome.
brave. You are so brave. I've gone
I can't even get on a roller coaster with my kid for her birthday, let alone
no, and literally like you have that like, oh shit moment, like, oh my God. But then when you realize there's literally nothing for you to grab, you just kind of like, whatever is going to happen at this point is going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. So I made myself be very present, and I can tell you exactly what the color of the lake was. I can tell you what was over there, where that temple was. I'd be like, oh, my son's right there. Parachute's open. Okay, great. He's safe, right? So it's just we build up all of this anxiety in our head, and what we think we're most afraid of actually ends up being like our most freeing experience. So
I felt the same way when paragliding, like, and I didn't tell my mom till after the fact. I'm just like, I called her up after the fact. I'm like, I went paragliding today in Slovenia, and she was like, I don't want to hear about it till you get home. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. But yeah, it was like the same thing. It was like to try to get over my fear of flying. And then once I was like up there, like in the clouds and looking down at the lake and like the mountains, I'm just like, okay, I can't go anywhere. I'm like sitting with this stranger, like my pilot, and I'm looking around, and you're just
amazing
stuck up there. But it was like an incredible experience, and we had to end up landing in a field somewhere. There was like some turbulence and whatnot, but it was like really a cool experience. But like my poor mother, like I didn't even like tell her beforehand because I knew she would be like, what is the matter with you? Can you please not do this to me?
Yeah, I get that. I think my mom's pretty much just given up on me. She's like, my daughter's gonna do dumb shit, and I'm gonna get that call one day. So she's kind of giving up on me. It is what it is.
My mom knows to expect whatever when I travel. This last time in Greece when I lost my phone, she was just like, all right, what'd you do? All right, that's fine. I guess I'll like call Verizon. And then she was like, next time buy a chain for your phone so it doesn't fly into the Gulf of Heraklion. And that's only $6 and not $1,300 for a new iPhone.
Right, for a new phone. Exactly.
That's so funny. For me, I don't tell my mom anything that I do. She just sees it on Instagram. She'll be like, oh my God, what do you mean we went to Costa Rica, and I have a huge fear of heights. But of course, you're in Costa Rica, so you got to go zip lining. And even though I was scared to death, I still did it. And my mom's like, what do you mean? You were over a mountain? What if the thing breaks? I was like, Mom, I'm back home. Like, I already did that. Like, obviously I survived.
I'm here. I'm home.
But don't make me block you on Facebook, Mom.
That's
Look, no,
so funny.
my mom is a Facebook mom. And so she literally came in the other day because I was posting something on Instagram. And she's like, oh, well, baby, you have to show me how to get on Instagram. I'm
You're
sorry,
like,
what?
no.
It's like,
Oh,
And she's
no.
like, yeah, that's the only way I'll see you. Like, mom, I was like, no. I was like, you don't need to be on Instagram. No, I'm not. Like, I'm not showing you. Like, love you. Like, I was like,
No.
Mom, you're not going to like it. It's just, no, it's just stay on Facebook. It's fine. I'll send you pictures.
send you pictures. It's
No.
I'm
so true.
unhinged. I can be unhinged on it. Like, Instagram is my safe place.
Yeah.
I love
no,
it.
Mom, you
I'm
can't
gonna
go on
follow you
Instagram.
now.
I love how we're like grown women and we're like, no,
Yeah.
Mom, you cannot
No,
be
you
my
can't.
friend on Instagram.
No.
You cannot be my friend on Instagram. Absolutely
No.
not. I'm
It's
going to
so
block you from
funny.
everything. Yeah.
Oh my God.
My family has found out so much stuff about like what I do on travel on Instagram, and my mom and my dad, they're not on social media. They just like don't like it, so they're not on it at all. But they'll find out about all the crazy stuff I do from like other family members who are on Instagram. They're just like, did you see that Rachel did this? And they were just like,
I know. My mom usually just yells at me. She was like, you let Samantha do this. And I'm like, yeah. And I did it with her too, Mom.
Yeah.
It was
Like,
so
doesn't
much
matter
fun, and
how
it was
old you
so
get.
great. No, it really doesn't.
I know it was crazy when we did the zip line. I almost chickened out and Samantha went first. And the guy was like, well, your daughter's on the opposite side. I was like, good for her. Can you take me in the thing and go around? We had like the little ATVs. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, I have to stay with the group. I was like, man. And he was like, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to tie you onto myself and we're going to do tandem style. I was like, no, I don't want to. Mind you, the guy was probably like 23 years old, like a little
Oh, yeah.
baby. And I'm over here and like holding on to him to like dear life. But I made it
Yeah.
across. And
Yeah.
Michael and Samantha are like clapping. They're like, honestly, I did not think you were going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I am notorious for chicking out at the very last second wherever
proud of you.
possible. Like every single time. But the guy was not having it. He was like, listen,
You're
you're
doing it.
going. You're
Like,
going.
that
I get
happened,
my
yeah.
bonus is riding on this. So you're
Basically.
gonna,
Yeah, that happened
I
to me
love
on a
that.
press trip in New Brunswick. We went to Cape and Rage, and the PR person went with me, and there was ziplining there, and he's like, I wouldn't do this. I'm scared of heights, but we could like look for fossils. So we looked for fossils. Then he had to leave to meet these other travel writers. As soon as he left, all the college students that work there seasonally look at me, and they're like, ready to go ziplining? And I'm like, well, I don't have the money for it. And they're just like, no, we'll cover that.
going.
You're
We're
ziplining.
going.
No
And they're like
excuses
all
here.
like Johnny's, and they're like, come on, get up there. And then they're like filming and laughing. And it was like a long zip line. And I'm just kind of like screaming. And they're just like, yeah. But yeah, it's like those college kids will get you every time. They don't care. They're just like, oh no.
Oh, no.
Where do you think you're
Exactly.
going?
Right.
And then
You're
you're
like,
like,
you don't have to tell him.
Right. You remember how we were when we were 20? I had a whole kid at 18. Like, hello. We were not planning for anything. It's nothing bad will happen when you're 20. Nothing like,
Nope.
I get it. Yeah.
Nope.
Nothing.
It's
Nope.
like
We're
we're
invincible.
immune to life.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Rose, are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Ready? Are you ready, Jess?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. So, would you rather get lost in a foreign city or miss your flight back home?
I would say the only reason I would rather get lost in a foreign city is because if I'm coming back home, it's like for a very specific purpose. So like, I don't necessarily want to miss that. But other than that, I could care less. I could miss my flight. I don't care.
I always say that when I'm coming back
Me
home,
too.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if I miss my flight, I mean, like, what can
Big
I
of a
do? I
deal.
gotta stay.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the worst
I've-
that could happen?
I've put
Yeah.
that out in the universe multiple times, and United has canceled my flight on 2 separate occasions coming
I
back
love
to
that.
the U.S.
So it's worked out.
It's a sign.
It's like you could stay here. It's like,
Yeah.
All right. So, would you rather hike to a hidden waterfall or wander an ancient city?
That's a both. I have to do both of those. And hopefully the waterfall is going through the ancient city. That would be the best.
Oh, that would be
Win-win.
beautiful. That would
Yeah.
be a total win.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
For sure. For sure.
This is a good one. Would you rather travel by train through Europe or backpack across Southeast Asia?
So the only
Tough
reason
one.
I would say the train in Europe is because I have never in my life backpacked. I never stayed at a hostel. I have no desire to start at almost 41. So, but I would just train anywhere. How about that? Train anywhere.
There we
I
go.
love that.
And plus,
I love
look,
that.
I need my products. I need my supplements. It doesn't all fit in a backpack anymore. I travel with 3 suitcases. It's horrible. I'm that person.
Yeah, those backpacking days, I remember staying in hostels, and like now that I'm 38, I'm like, some of the stuff I would not do again. It's a little gnarly.
There's no way. I need my own. I have to have at least a private bathroom.
Oh, me too.
Like, in my,
Same.
like, I'm not sharing with anybody
No,
ever.
absolutely not. All right. Ooh, this is a good one too. So, would you rather always meet incredible people while traveling or always find the best food?
That's so hard because I love food.
I
But
know.
I would say for me, because that's one of those things that I can just get, like, when I became vegetarian, I wanted to do it my whole life. I finally did it. So I'm not like out there getting, the best food all the time anyway. So, and that's something I can get stuck in a rut in. So I think I could deal with subpar food if I have good community and, like, I'm laughing about the fact that we're eating oatmeal again.
I love that. And it's so true. Like, I could just
It's
like
like trauma
wait.
bonding.
Yeah.
It's gruel, guys. We are like in the 1800s, but you know what? We're in the 1800s together. So fun.
Because it's really the people you meet that make the memories. Like the food, I'll just
Absolutely.
I'll just get a good meal in New York and like just meet the incredible people overseas. I agree.
Right. Right. And I'm also not the most adventurous eater. Like, I'm not eating tripe. I'm not trying a cockroach. Like, I'm good. Rice, spring rolls, all
That
my
sounds
pastas.
delicious.
Yeah.
Like, keep it
I'm
safe.
I'm not in any kind of dessert, tiramisu, but anything adventurous, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't need it that bad. It's okay. I'm fine.
I'm with you on that one. I try to be a little adventurous, but if it like looks weird or smells funky, I'm just like, no, thank you.
Yeah. See, I won't do it when I'm by myself, but like if I meet a bunch of people traveling, especially if I'm the only American and they egg me on, then I do it because I have to be cool.
No.
Yeah.
If
See,
I'm egged
no.
on, I'll do it.
I'm not doing
I'm
peer pressure. I
good.
don't succumb to peer pressure.
Yeah.
And
I do.
I ended up actually between my visa run from Bangkok to Cambodia. I went to the same market I go to all the time, got the same food I got all the time. Somehow I got some terrible bug that
Ugh.
literally lasted for over a month. I lost probably 10 pounds. The entire time I was in Cambodia, I was still dealing with the same stomach issue. Yeah. TMI, but it happens. The joys of travel.
That is one of the joys of travel. I
Yeah,
mean,
unfortunately.
those stomach
Yeah.
issues happen. There's no avoiding it.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna travel, guys, just be ready.
Yeah.
So maybe
exactly.
don't eat the fried cockroaches at the market in Chiang
Yeah.
Mai.
Yeah. No, and I didn't even do that, but somehow I still got it.
It
Activated
happens.
charcoal is your best friend. Activated charcoal
I've heard this.
and flora, like biofloras. Just consume as much as you can.
It's like bring it in your luggages, kids.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, this was so much fun. Jess, before we wrap up, do you want to tell our listeners where they can find you? And if you had to give one piece of advice for someone contemplating making that leap into their first solo travel, what would that be?
I said it before. There's always a reason not to. Doesn't matter what your dream or desire is. There's always a reason not to do something. You do it anyway. Period.
Just do it.
Just do it.
That's like our slogan.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
And Nike don't come for us. Okay.
No.
But right.
No.
Yeah. And then if you want to find me, and I can be unhinged on Instagram, but it's just, oh my God, I changed it. It's _ the Jess effect. And I might be changing that soon to midlife side quests. But for now,
That's cool.
yeah, I'm working on something with my content. So we'll see. Yeah.
All right.
But-
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. But _ the Jess effect is my Instagram, or gorgeouswanderlust.com.
Awesome.
my
Well, this was
website.
so much fun. Although
Yeah, I
when
had a
you said
blast.
midlife, I was like, I just came to terms with the idea that I am in my midlife
Look,
stage. So
I keep
Mm.
saying it's a third life crisis because I'm gonna live to 120.
there
So
you go.
I'm not in my
Yeah.
midlife yet. But that's not as marketing, like, catchy wise. I can't
Exactly.
really brand that as well. So yeah, midlife.
We
side
need to
quests.
monetize this somehow.
Yeah.
Look, someone
Yep.
has to pay for all this stuff because I don't want to keep building websites.
Yeah. I don't want to keep
love it.
maxing out the cards.
Yeah, I got rid of that. Was
Smart
hard.
move. Good
That
decision.
was hard. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Tune in.
that's a whole other
Yeah.
episode, part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
But this
Well,
was
thank
so
you so
much
much,
fun.
ladies. I had so much fun.
Yes, same. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Jess, for being on the show. And thank you to
of
our
course.
listeners. And that is a wrap on today's episode of Bon Voyage Besties. As always, we love chatting with Jess, who explored over 25 countries. Her story reminds us that solo travel isn't just about seeing the world, it's also about seeing yourself in a whole new way. So if today's episode inspired you to finally take that first solo trip, consider this your sign to go for it. So 2026 is right around the corner, so go for it, besties. The
Book
growth,
the trip.
confidence, and clarity
Mhm.
you'll find on the road are truly unmatched. So thanks again, Jess, and make sure to give her a follow. We'll add all of her socials on our show notes. And until next time, besties, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, the best adventure is the one you take with yourself.
Love it.
That sounded a
Hush,
little sexual.
besties.
It's after 9
Well,
o'clock in New Jersey.
yeah, it is. Yeah, just pop the Moscato, get in your jammies. Let's
That's
go,
what I'm
guys.
doing. Yeah.
Until the next episode.
Exactly.
Bon voyage.
Bye.